Hello, people. I like to dance. I don't know. I'm just gonna behave this afternoon. Just gonna behave myself. Okay. I am going to behave myself. All right. What's my topic? Let me just wait and see if anybody's out there. For I do what I enjoy doing, talking to myself. Talking to myself. What's this? I'm a little curious. I can actually set up my video anyhow I wanna. Let me see what's here. Oh, I don't know. I don't know, and I'm not gonna experiment with this. All right. What am I doing here? No, okay. No, I don't like that. Hello, people. I'm just here. I'm trying to start my video, but I was getting a bit curious about the things on my video. But how does it look so dark? I don't know why it looks so dark. How are you doing? It's a Friday. Again, it's a Friday. Are you one of those persons who normally say happy Friday? Hmm. Or do you are you about thank God it's Friday? Thank God it's Friday. Now for me, I used to be a kind of person that says thank God it's Friday, but no, I don't bother my head too much. I don't bother my head too much in terms of thank God it's a Friday. I just try to dig into what I have to do, and that's it. Hi, Kadisha Compton. How are you doing? So, welcome to my live. I appreciate. All right. Now, I was trying to share my live on my page, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. So, I guess I'll have to share it afterwards. All right. So anyway, how is everybody doing? I'm going to start my live. I'm the kind of person I welcome people to my live. I am happy to see people here, but if there's nobody here, I still do what I do best. I talk to myself. So when you have something to say, one person is enough to say it to, and if they want to listen, they listen. If they don't want to, it's all good, right? So now we're going to talk a little bit. I hope I am able to see your comments today. I noticed that I saw Kadisha's comment, good evening. So I am happy at least I can see comments. So we're going to talk. Now, jotted down a few notes here just to guide my conversation. And what's the reason behind my conversation today? The key to getting ahead in life. It's really this topic stem from looking at what's going on around the globe right now, and the sense of helplessness, and the sense of depression that I've noticed going on. There are many people who, depression has always been there, but maybe, with social media, we are more likely to see people talking about, I'm depressed. I have a website, cupidandI.com, and one of my blogs that people normally sort are blogs dealing with, experiencing difficulty, going through hell, those kind of blogs. And so people are out there and they're desperate for some kind of encouragement. So that's where my whole blog comes from. Now, when we say getting ahead, what exactly are we talking about? Now, getting ahead in life is different for everyone, because everyone has their different goals that they aspire to. Some people are more ambitious than others, but it doesn't negate the fact that all of us we like to succeed, and We would like to be able to take care of our basic needs without worrying about bills and worrying about life, and all of this. We would just love to be able to provide for ourselves, not waiting on anyone else to do so for us. And sometimes our circumstances create feelings of desperation within us, especially when we notice that we're not getting anywhere. And I can relate to this because I've been there many times in my life. Yes, Kadisha, positive self-esteem, definitely. That's one of it, right? No, so and every time I have this conversation, it brings me back to my time, difficult periods in my life when there was a time when I didn't have, a job. I was in my early 20s and I was feeling so desperate. It's like there was so many things that I wanted to do, and I had my ambition and my goals, but there was no lack of feeling of being supported. So I didn't feel like if I was supported, there was anyone supporting me, on these things. So it's like I felt really desperate. But I am here to tell you today that even though your circumstances may not want you are not what you want them to be, you have to try and stay grounded. It's important for you to stay grounded in times of difficulty, because if you don't, you are going to find yourself making mistakes out of your desperation. So that's very important. Again, it brought me back to a period 2014 to 2018, and these periods were difficult for me because I was out of a job and I was doing things online, but I felt so desperate as if nothing was working out. And so I am able to talk to you on this topic because I've been there myself. And you may say, okay, well, it's easy for you to give advice because you're no longer there. But trust me, as long as we have life, there's always going to be issues. We are always going to face issues, and so these things that I have to discuss have it doesn't just talk about one aspect of life. It's a continuous process in life, in making sure that you stay grounded, and because circumstances are always going to develop in your life. So the first one I wanted to say, I had two here, but I want to say the first one I want to say is that in times of desperation, the key to getting ahead is to keep calm. Keep calm. Because this is most times, you are at this time when you things are not going your way, you're going to feel like if, okay, your life is going to be over. You're feeling as if your time is just passing you by. You're feeling as if you're too late for something. You're feeling as if you would not achieve, because there's just this feeling of desperation. And while you are feeling desperate because you're wondering what's going to happen in your future, it is important that you stay calm. Staying calm means staying in the moment. Don't think too much about what the future is going to look like for you and worry too much about it, because by doing so, you are affecting your ability to think. It brings me back to the whole thing with Karl Marx and his talk about scarcity. And so when we feel like resources are scarce, it actually makes us desperate, because then and in our desperation, we are not able to think constructively. So it's important that you stay calm. Yes, you're gonna be, there will be some thoughts, because we are human, and so there will be some thoughts about where am I going, what is going to happen, when am I going to get a job, when am I going to get a promotion, when am I going to, but you have to try and keep calm enough so that you can think straight. Now the next thing I want to say, so the first thing is to keep calm so that you can think properly, because when your mind is in turmoil, you're just basically going to focus on the negative things. So you have to keep calm, refocus, build some kind of self-awareness, and stay calm. Now, the next thing that I would suggest that you do is to take ownership for your life. Take ownership for your life. It is important that you develop a sense of responsibility. You are responsible for the quality of your life. You are responsible for whatever mistakes you make, and you are responsible for the wins in your life. Some of us, we like to take responsibility whenever we have some sort of success, but whenever there is a mishap, and whenever we mess up and we make mistakes, we don't ever like to acknowledge and take ownership for that. And so when we don't take ownership for our role in our mistakes, then what we do is that we're not growing, because we're just giving that responsibility to somebody else, and then we are putting all of the blame on somebody else. So my job, I got fired from my job. It's all the boss's fault. The relationship did not work out. It's all the other person's fault. I failed at my subject because the teacher did not explain it well. So you see, all of these excuses, yes, some of it might be true, but what is your role in all of that? When you take responsibility for your life, then you feel more empowered. And just as you feel happy when you win, yes, you're going to feel bad when you mess up, but you take responsibility for those things. Forgive yourself for your mistakes and forgive others for the mistakes they make, so that you're not bound down by unnecessary baggage. Forgive others. Yes, it might take a while, but eventually you should move to a point of forgiveness where you're not holding any grudges against anybody, and you're just trying to, life is too short to have all of that baggage on your shoulders. So forgive others. So that's point number 2. So first, keep calm. Second, take ownership for your life, the quality of your life, including your happiness and your mistakes and your wins. You take responsibility. I am responsible for what my life turns out to be. I am responsible for this journey. Now, the next thing I want to encourage us to do is to explore and keep being curious. Explore. Life can be an adventure. And when we say adventure, we're not just talking about the nice time and all of that. We're talking about life in general, the essence of life. Life is an adventure. All right, so become curious. How do you become curious? Do things such as reading books. Sometimes you might say, okay, I would like to travel to such and such place, but I don't even have the money. I don't see how that can happen. But sometimes the adventure is in the reading that you do. I remember as a child, I read everything that I could read. And places that I would have visited as an adult, as a child, I didn't see how I could reach to these places as a teenager and as a young adult. Some of these places I did not know how I will get there, but I always read, and I immersed myself in the book, and I felt like if I was really experiencing being in that place. So become curious, learn things. What are you interested about in? Become curious and start learning things, not just for the sake. Sometimes you say, okay, well, I'm not just going to read because I like reading. Just read because you like reading. Don't just go and say, okay, well, I'm going to just do this because I need to know about that. It is good when you can. I am not seeing all of the comments here, but in case, I hope I don't miss any. But the thing is, when you're curious, it's not about just reading with a purpose. It is just sometimes an adventure. So you just try to discover things, and you just never know what you might learn. Even if you're not in the mood to read something, read. Stay abreast of what is happening, not just in the media. What about self-help books? Books that can help you become creative. What about videos with telling you, teaching you things? Get yourself involved and become curious and explore. The next step is to take chances on the things you enjoy doing. Many of us, sometimes we have opportunities, but we are scared for whatever reason. The thing is to take chances on the things you enjoy doing. Don't just say, oh, be cower in your corner and say, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm so scared. Even despite your a little anxiety is good, but even despite your little anxiety, that's normal, because of course we are always anxious about the unknown. But even with that, we should be able to take chances. Take chances. Don't just disqualify things and people without, see, just read a little, learn a little, get some information on the topic or on the person or whatever it is, and then you can take that chance. If the information that is available to you is showing that the risk is worth it, then you take the chance. Sometimes you may take the chance and it doesn't work out, but that's okay. At least you would have tried. Now, the next point that I want to make is to keep your pride in check. Keep your pride in check. Why I say this is because many times we want to do things, but our pride keeps us from doing it. Take, for instance, selling. Some people, they might have an idea about a product that they want to develop. And they may be skillful at things like cooking, making things. And because of the fact that they have to go out there and try to encourage or sell the products to others, they let their pride get in the way of doing so. Some people see selling as they feel, like it's something that they shouldn't be doing. And so your pride may be preventing you from doing certain jobs, or might even developing your skill. Oh, I don't like that job because you don't dress. I don't like the dress code. I don't like this. I don't like that. I can make things. I can make cake. I can do all of this, but my pride, your pride prevents you from gaining when you should be gaining. So keep your pride in check. Save it. Save it for your character. So when it comes to pride, you should look at your character. Am I an upright person? Am I honest? Am I do I have integrity? These are the things that you should attach your pride to. But when it comes to making a living, instead of letting your pride get in the way, you're sitting down at home, you're not working, and you have a skill that you can use, but your pride is getting in the way. You're afraid that if you go out and you sell your things, what's going to happen? Now, I recall when I first started selling my books, I really did not know where to start. And sometimes you don't know where to start. Sometimes it's not pride, but sometimes you just don't know where to start. So sometimes that's where other people come in, when they can give you a gentle push. And I went into the city and I was like, I don't even know where to start to sell this book, because we're not an environment, especially in SVG, where people sell certain things. And so we're still young in the business of entrepreneurship and selling our own things. And I went into the city with a sample of my book. And I met a friend of mine. And I'm like, I'm going up by one of those bookstores to find out if they will sell my books for me. So I went to the bookstore. They said they couldn't sell the book because the book was too. They didn't think that it would sell because it was too expensive. Now for me, it wasn't expensive, because all I was making was about $4 and change profit, right? Because by the time you factor in shipping and everything, it really was nothing. But Nevertheless, they consider it expensive, knowing that the economy in our country and all of that, and that's fine. So they decided they couldn't sell the book, and I said okay. I say okay, well, I'll sell it myself. So that's where you have to keep your pride in check. Now the thing is, I could have just walked away and say, you know what, I'm just gonna lie down and cry. But I didn't do that. Instead of that, I went up to Searchlight newspaper, and I told them my story. I say, listen, I have a book here. Can you take my story? They took my story, thanks to Searchlight newspaper. They took my story. They put it on the internet. That generated some sales, and made people aware that I had a book. Also, on that very day, I went into Kingston Credit Union, and I went to the workers there, and I said, good morning. I had a good relationship with them. Good morning. I have just done this children's book, and I'm wondering if you'd like to take a look. I said, it's for sale, but at the moment, I just want you to take a look. And if you like what you see, then you can, and you feel like you could purchase it, then I'll really appreciate it. By the time I left there, I had about 8 sales out of Kingston Credit Union. 8 sales. Along with that, other people started reaching out to me. So you see, sometimes your pride can get in the way. So if you have a talent, if you have something to give or some kind of skill, do not let your pride get in the way. If there's a job that you need to be doing because you need to make a living, start somewhere. Usually when the start to begin is the hardest thing. Once you've begun something, things become easier. Let's say you're out of a job now and you get an offer for a part-time something. Don't refuse it. Go to that part-time job, because let me tell you, when you are in a job, more jobs come. More jobs come when you are in a job. More jobs come. I have proof of that in my life. When I came here to work, when I left a year ago to take up the position as a lecturer, I actually had 2 offers for a lecturer position from 2 different countries. 2 offers at once. So things just take whatever comes, as long as it's legal and it's not asking you to give up your integrity and your character, and you're not gonna be put in jail for what you're doing. Do it. Don't let your pride, don't let what other people say about it affect you. Okay? Now the next thing that I want to say, stop caring so much about other people's opinion. Now, some people's opinion is all good, and we like to hear a good opinion. It's good, but let me tell you something. Sometimes the people who are giving voice in your life, they are not coming from a well-meaning place. And so you have to ensure that when you are taking anyone's opinion, you take it with a grain of salt. If there is something in that opinion that can encourage you to build yourself, to reflect and to build yourself, take it. If what they're saying is just gonna make you feel down and make you feel less of a person, just drop it and move on. Stop caring so much about others' opinion. Others' opinion is preventing us from getting ahead. You might have something that you want to do and you're so scared. I remember before I started online here, there was so much going on in my life, and I was like, I wonder, when I start this whole Facebook live thing, how people are going to take it and what's gonna think. That's the general thing, because sometimes you say, I wonder if I'm gonna mess up. I wonder if I can speak from my head. So what I did at first, I just started jotting down things on a paper, and sometimes I still do, to give my life some kind of guide. But you just wondering what others are going to think, and if you're gonna mess up and whatever. Let me tell you something. Get to the point where you don't care about what others have to say, unless it's going to build you up. Unless it's going to build you up, reach to the point where you accept yourself. So even if you're doing a live and you just mess up and you bust and you just laugh it off and move along. Laugh it off and move along, and stop caring so much about what people think. Yes, you have to get to that point, because if you keep thinking, remember the people, the man with the donkey, the farmer with the donkey with the son. At one point he was on the donkey, And then I think the first at one point the donkey was they were walking the donkey and both of them were walking, and then people had something to say about the fact that both of them were walking and the donkey is without any load. And then there was a point where the man went on the donkey, and then people talking saying he's on the donkey and then leave his son to walk, and then he took they put the son on the donkey and he's walking, and then people criticizing every single thing. So there's no way pleasing people. As long as what you're doing is legal, is legitimate, and you're not hurting anyone by doing it, physically harming or emotionally you're doing something that's harming anyone, mind your business, focus on yourself and stop caring about others' opinion that is not uplifting to you. So the next point is to remember it is better to be earning a decent living than to be dependent on others. It is better to be earning a decent living than to be dependent on others. This again relates to others' opinion, right? Now you're not working yet. Somebody is calling you, say, "Can you babysit for me? Can you do some laundry for me?" And instead of trying to make a deal with this person as to how much they're gonna pay you, you sitting down there and, okay, I don't want to do that job. Washing is and you have a talent, you can wash enough. But you're thinking, oh well, I shouldn't be washing for that person because I knew them when I was growing up and we were all in the same thing. And so your pride can think. But I'm saying that if you can earn a decent living, it doesn't matter how you're earning it, as long as it is legitimate, you're not committing any crime to do it, go along and do what you need to do. It's better to be doing your thing, to be independent, earning your own living, than to waiting for somebody else to always be handing it to you. Take your power back. Take your power back and stop being dependent, and you don't need to be. I can understand if you definitely cannot help it, but I'm saying that you must reach to the point that as long as there is something that you should be doing, you should do what you're doing, what needs to be done to earn a living, than to depend on others. And one of the things I keep saying to people enjoy seeing others try. When you try, you actually cause other people to want to help you. I am living proof of this. I remember in my struggle, 4 years ago, between 2014 and 2018, before I eventually got another job. I was doing things online, but it was hard. Creating an online business is hard, and I'm still going at it, and it's becoming easier. But the thing is, I was trying, I was exploring, and that is what, in your toughest moments, your creativity comes. But people support you when they see you are trying, despite the odds, and you're trying. And I remember my friend, he said, I just love to see how you're not giving up. And you know what he did? He started giving me finance, started offering me money, because he just enjoyed seeing me try. But if you're there, you're sitting, you're not making an effort, not many people are going to want to help you, especially in these hard times. So you must give people a reason to help you. Give them a reason, and let that reason be a good reason. Ada Hill says words of wisdoms. I truly admire what you're doing online as well. That I'm telling you, I really admire it. It brings me such joy, and to see what you're doing. You're just one classic example of how far you've reached, and it's just admiring to see. All right, so that's just one example, Ada, so you can relate to what I'm saying, and many others can relate. Okay. So no matter the job, do it with pride. That's my next point. It's kind of related to the last time. No matter what the job is, do it with pride, and do it to the best of your ability. Now, this is a problem sometimes with people. They're unemployed. You offer them something to do, and because they might say, okay, well, the pay is not good or whatever, they give you a half-done job. It's not okay. If you cannot handle the simple jobs and you cannot do the simple jobs well, what makes you think that you're qualified to get a bigger job? What makes you think so? If somebody is offering you a job and they're paying you $25 a day, yes, $25 a day is not worth it, but maybe that's all that they can afford, right? Because they too are working for a little finance. But the thing is, if you accept to do that job for the pay that they offered, do it to the best of your ability, because not only will, because you see the thing with it, sometimes we mess up our chances in life, because when we are given the little things to do, we do not do it well. When we are given the little things to do, we do not do it well. We do not do it well. We steal from our employers. We do all of these things. We make excuses for why we steal from them. And we make excuses for why we did the job the way we did it. But let me tell you something. That employer who employed you and paid you little because maybe that's all they can afford, the thing with that employer is that that employer can actually recommend you for something bigger if you don't mess up. So you have to be careful with the little things, because if you do the little things with pride, even if you think that the pay is not worth it, still do your job with pride. Do it to the best of your ability, because what you put out is what you will get back. If you work honestly, you may not get the payment from your employer, but trust me, sooner or later your payment will come. Life has a way of working in cycles. And so you must be trustworthy and be hard working with the little things, so that when the big things come, you are ready for them. You're not going to go to the next level unless you have passed level 1. And level 1 is me giving you something to do. Maybe the pay is not that great, but then you, in your honesty, you're going and you're doing a good job. That could inspire the employer as well to either give you a raise, give you a little extra on your pay, give you other things, as well as recommend you for other jobs. All right? Now, what's the next point? Don't wait to be happy. Don't wait to be happy. In all of this, anxiety will come. Things may not be perfect, but you cannot afford to live each day in stress. You have to find a way to create a balance, so that when stress comes, that you learn to deal with it healthily. Because let me tell you something, you see, right now there's so many diseases that are caused by stress. Stress is the number one underlying cause of many diseases, including depression, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, you name it. Because when you're stressed, it affects the whole functioning of your body. Even your appetite changes. The things you eat will change. When you're less stressed, you're more likely to take care of yourselves. You're more likely to look at the things you eat. And I know that sometimes it's not easy because your pay may not be supporting it. But I'm saying that stress added to a low paying job just compounds the whole health issue. So you cannot afford to be stressed and in a low paying job. So you must try to find a way to cope with your stress. If it means getting up daily and doing something first thing in the morning, what is it that you do first thing in the morning when you get up that can help you to go through the day without being overly stressed? For me, that might be playing a motivational video, listening to some scripture. I like to listen to things more than I like to read, because the listening is internalizing in my head and it calms me. So find things that are healthy. Find healthy ways of coping with your stressful situations. Get up each day with a grateful attitude and don't just think, okay, today is going to be just another stressful day. Get yourself up in a positive mind frame so that as you go through the day, even if you meet some stressful events, at least you will be able to cope with it. Don't anticipate things. Just go, thank God for the moment and just go through each moment as it comes. Don't think too hard about the future and what you, because of your present situation, you're just so caught up, this is going to affect my future, and you start thinking all of these things. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your health. All right, remember, health is a rounded something. It's not just what you eat, it's also your physical. It's also taking care of your body. It's also your mental health and your emotional health, as well as your financial health. So this may mean even taking care of your finances. It may mean that you might need to make a budget too as well. These are things you have to do. So if you're bad spending money, that you're not, and your expenditure is more than your income, then it means that you have to give up certain things if possible. As long as it's not a need, some things you might have to sacrifice to take care of your basic needs. And so you can't afford the big bed that you see in quotes this Christmas because of the fact that you don't have the money. Let it go. You can sleep on the small one until another time. So don't put yourself in unnecessary expense and then go and stress about it. Learn to live within your means, right? And take care of your basic needs first. Because if you buy that bed and January comes, you can't pay for it. Course coming back for it anyway. So deal with your basic needs, and the things you have, take care of them. Take care of the things you have. Now, the thing with it is that if you put off your happiness, you will always be waiting for the perfect moment to be happy. There is no such thing as a perfect life, a perfect moment. Let's say you have one problem now. You solve that problem, another problem, more than likely, as long as you're living, is going to come. So the ideal thing is to make your strive for happiness by dealing with your mindset. Creating a balanced mindset that even if you meet tough times and you have to vent if you have to. But don't go going on for days with the same issue. Talk about it, get it off your chest, and then get back to some measure of calm and see how you can solve that situation. Because if you're waiting for the perfect moment to be happy, it's never gonna come. So don't put off your happiness for tomorrow and say, well, when I get enough money, I will be happy. When I get this job, I will be happy. Because let me tell you something. You're going to leave one job and go in another one, and the pay might be better, but you will still find problems. So problems are there everywhere. So it's about, how do I create a balance so that I can at least be happy most of the time, most of the day, right? That's just it. All right. So again, there will always be some imperfect situation because this is life. This is life. So the key to getting ahead has been discussed. These are just, this by no way exhausts the list of things to get ahead. But these are things that have worked for me. Some of the things that have worked for me and I've seen work for others. So let me just recap. So you should keep calm, right? Keep calm. In any situation that you're going through, keep calm. Take ownership of your life. Take ownership for your life. You're responsible for your wins, your losses, your mistakes, and the quality of your life. You are responsible for that. Forgive others and forgive yourself and move on. Explore, become curious. Don't just sit around and wait on anybody to help you. Explore, become curious, because reading and exploring on the internet are ways to become curious. Ask questions, talk to people, have meaningful conversations, because in those moments you might just think of a brilliant idea. Listen to others in the field that you are interested in. Look at what they do. Nobody has everything that has been done on earth is just a cycle, really. So there are nothing new under the sun now. There's not really anything new under the sun. There might be different modifications, different approaches, but don't try to reinvent the wheel for certain things. Look at what others are doing and you form your own unique way of doing it. So you may gather some ideas from others, but at the end of the day, how can I put this and put my own unique style and twist to this? So that at the end of the day, you're not trying to be like others. You are just finding your place in the world. You're not trying to be talking like somebody else, or walking like somebody else, or looking like somebody else, or sounding like somebody else, right? So next point is to take chances on the things you enjoy doing. I expanded on that already. Next point is to keep your pride in check. Don't let your pride prevent you from getting ahead. And sometimes your pride can make you not apologize and other things along with that. So keep your pride in check and know when to apologize, know when to admit you're wrong as well with your pride. And don't refuse a job just because you don't think it's not like the heighty job you're looking for. So keep your pride in check. Stop caring so much about other people's opinion. Give of your best always. Always give of your best. Even when you're saying I'm not being paid enough for this job, give of your best. Because your work ethic your reputation will go before you. The world is very small now, and all it takes is for one potential employer, to call an ex-employer to find out about your work ethic. All right? So give up your best. Show up early on the job. Be punctual. Don't absent unless you are ill or not feeling well, right? Next thing is to remember it is better to be earning a decent living than to be dependent on others. So no matter the job, do it with pride. This is when your pride should come in. So that when you've done it, when you've baked that cake to sell, you've done your best. When you've sewn that garment, you've done your best. When you've constructed that lovely piece of furniture, you've done your best. You're selling your stuff and you're doing it to the best of your ability. When you've gone out and you've tried to generate sales, and even if nobody bought anything, you felt good that at least I was brave enough to face people and ask them if they would buy my product. Give of your best always and do it with pride. Sell your books with pride. Do your nails with pride. Do your braiding with pride. Teach with pride. Do your whatever job you are doing, do it with pride. And don't wait to be happy. Try to be happy at any given moment. Let your stresses be. Take care of them. Get rid of them. Ventilate. Express yourself. Get rid of the stress off your chest and move on. And remember, you will always be waiting if you're putting off your happiness. So try to do it now. Manage your stress in a healthy manner. I don't like to say manage your stress. I prefer to say cope with your stress in a healthy manner. And those are my keys to getting ahead. Now, if you have any other key to getting ahead, please feel free to and of course somebody mentioned self-esteem, and along with that comes loving yourself. Love yourself regardless to who doesn't love you. Love yourself. I have put that in another video before, but it is relevant here. Love yourself. Pat yourself when nobody else pats you. Congratulate yourself when nobody else does. If you're waiting for the approval of others, you did something good and you're expecting them to say, wow, well done, good job. And nobody is saying that for whatever reason. Give yourself a pat. Give yourself a round of applause. And just, love yourself. There's nothing wrong in loving yourself. Love yourself and appreciate you, because if you don't, nobody else will. And do not tolerate anyone treating you less than you should be treated. You deserve to be treated, and expect and hold yourself to a high esteem, and let people know that it's not okay to walk out all over me. I think this should have been the number one thing. Loving yourself and not tolerating, zero tolerance for anyone who's going to walk all over me. Love yourself, okay? And that's the key to getting ahead, because if you have everything else and you have no love for yourself and others, you're not going to get anywhere. So you must love yourself. Now, personally, there's also one thing that I do, and this is above everything else, that I put God first. I put God first in what I do, and my power and my confidence and my love for myself exists because I know the God I serve. And for me, that has been the secret to me coping and thriving through difficult times. If I tell you some of the stories of the things I've went through, you probably would not believe me. Some people may, some people may not, but I'm saying that when you know who you serve, you are empowered. So for those of you who are open to exploring, read the Bible, give it a read. Don't just take it for what other people say, oh, there's no God, whatever the case is. Read it for yourself and be convicted for yourself. And when you know the God you serve, that He made you in His image, and He made you to be a conqueror and not to be a warrior, and to love yourself, then you are well on your way to getting ahead. All right. So have a good night, folks. Thank you. Good night for Colin, Kemshem, Harry. Good night. Thanks, Natalie Hugs, for viewing. Thanks, everyone, for viewing. Have a great weekend, whatever you do. And all the best going forward. Bye.